The Supreme Court today has pulled up the Delhi government and the top cop in Delhi, the police commissioner, over the cracker ban after widespread crackers were used during Diwali. The court issued notices to the Delhi government led by the Aam Aadmi Party and the police commissioner, which reports to the Home Ministry to explain steps that were taken to implement and enforce the cracker ban this year. Now, ladies and gentlemen, at NDTV, we take your health, our health very, very seriously, and that is why we have started this campaign, fight against pollution, and your right to breathe. In fact, every year this story keeps going on. It's almost a continuous hearing that we see in the Supreme Court, which keeps happening year after year with barely much changing on the ground. Our approach is to try and find solutions so that at least the people, whether they are from the Aam Aadmi Party government in Delhi or the BJP, the opposition, and also the other agencies can possibly implement few of those, not only for this city but also for the future as far as this city is concerned. To try and decode some solutions, I'm being joined at this moment by Bhavya Sharma, Senior Program Manager, WRI India. We also has Akash Vashisht, environmentalist and lawyer. Gentlemen, thank you so much for speaking to us here on NDTV. I want to start by asking you, Mr. Sharma, like I said, it's last many years that we keep hearing the same thing, the Supreme Court's talking tough, and then nothing happens. It comes down to zero, and every year we're preparing ourselves for worse and worse pollution, pre, post, and then leading up to the new year. Where is the system, in fact, lacking, and particularly talking about the cracker ban?
Thanks, Ankit. Thanks for having me here. One or two points I would like to make. One is that we can't always be at the mercy of meteorology. High wind speeds this time at Delhi actually helped in reducing AQI and reducing air pollution. But obviously now, as the temperature has dipped and wind speeds have become low, so the impact we are able to see now live in our environment. Now, the cracker ban, obviously the policy is there and the regulations are there, but there are two facets. One is the policy side, the regulation side. The other is the enforcement side. And the third aspect that comes is the awareness part or the citizen participation. So all three have to be combined in one chain. Otherwise, like if we talk about other sectors or activities that are contributing to air pollution in Delhi NCR, so there are local sources and there are sources outside from Delhi which impact overall air quality. Every year, it's not only one season; it's across the year when we talk about. So we obviously have to see it in totality when we talk about air pollution in Delhi NCR.
Let me also, in fact, at this moment, bring in Mr. Akash Vashisht. Mr. Vashisht, is there somewhere a need to disengage or start this whole approach as far as banning the crackers is concerned? We heard a lot of noise around green crackers, this and that. The fact remains that there are people, those who in fact actually go out and do it in defiance. It's an emotional issue for a lot of people. Is there a need to disengage from that?
Yes, Ankit. If you see in the paradigm that, it's more than an emotional issue. I feel this is a very intricate issue which affects every citizen's right to life under Article 21 of the Constitution of India. Now, here is a case which is not affecting just right to life. It is also affecting right to a dignified life, right to livelihoods, and of course, right to a clean and fresh air. That's one. Now, in this case, the Supreme Court must also consider, as you rightly pointed out, not just issuing notices to the Delhi Commissioner of Police, but also to the to other state governments in NCR, especially the UP government, especially Haryana government, because these satellite towns, especially Ghaziabad, Greater Noida, Faridabad, Gurgaon, every town has witnessed massive uh, massive this firecracker ban no defines, right? So I think this is just one step, and the story gets repeated over the same year. As the previous speaker has just pointed out, it's just we are only thankful every year to the meteorological phenomena, the high wind speed, etc.,
Yes.
which carries away which disperses most of the pollutants. Now the
But Mr.
stories
Bashish,
are
I want
ultimate.
to it's a very pertinent point that you have in fact picked up. The cracker ban is for Delhi and NCR, but we don't see, I mean, of course we don't see any implementation in the national capital, but it's so easy to just cross the border, go to Noida, buy crackers, come back and burst them whenever you want, even if there is some sort of implementation in the national capital. What I want to understand from you, sir, legally speaking, what are the options before the court? It just can't be lip service year after year. If the governments are not doing it, what are the options before the court to enforce this?
See, legally speaking, because this discourse has been there for last 2 to 3 years, that whenever the AQI falls into the plunges into the into very severe or severe category, then some kind of emergency measures, it must be declared as emergency. Now, emergency is highly defined by law. What is required at this juncture is that at any point of time, if the AQI crosses the 250 mark, it must be declared as a disaster under the provisions of the Disaster Management Act. Wherefore, the National Disaster Management Authority, the State Disaster Management Authority, the District Disaster Management Authority, and the local bodies must cohesively, individually, as well as collectively perform their obligations under that legislation. I think this is and this is something that we are going to present it before the National Green Tribunal tomorrow in the important hearing on the AQI through the amicus.
Right.
So if this is declared, I think it will lend more teeth. It will lend more credence to the measures that are being taken and which shall be taken. So I
Okay.
think the urgent need of the hour is to have it declared as a
Right.
disaster, because it's
Right.
all man-made. It's all man-made.
Absolutely. Mr. Sharma, let me bring you in back on this. The
Yeah.
fact remains that while we talk about cracker ban, is it, just too much finger pointing on one or two issues? Like people would say, oh, we are burning crackers only for a day. The AQI before that was already in the severe zone. How much of an impact will it have had? And then, of course, after one day, we are not burning crackers 365 days, but the pollution remains. Is it finger pointing on smaller issues rather than trying to systematically eradicate the problem that we are facing?
Obviously, I mean, crackers, cracker bursting happens for only a few days. If you see in the overall, sources category, then, we have, like I said earlier, we have sources from outside of Delhi, we have sources from inside the Delhi, which contributes, or, with the activities go on every day or every month. So it's not only that, we need to focus only for few days that we ban some activities. Obviously, it has an impact, overall impact on human health, and certainly we need to consider it. But we also need to see that, overall, if across the year, there are multiple activities that are contributing. And suddenly the meteorological conditions, if they are not in favor, doesn't mean that we should not stop them, or, when the conditions are pretty good, we should not work on that.
We can't wait for this air pollution to become an air emergency every single time for us to even act. This has to be a sustained effort to try and eradicate this pollution. Coming to that, sir, how much of an impact, and I just want to understand it from a very dispassionate view, how much of an impact does, let's say, if the cracker ban was completely enforced, there is not a single cracker which is burst in Delhi, how much of an impact will it have on the air quality?
So if you see the AQI for the past days, certainly before Diwali, the air started to get polluted. So that means that, the sources were there, the activities were happening, and crackers only exacerbated that levels of air pollution overall. So I would say that crackers do have an impact overall, but if we need to control air pollution, we need to go down at the core level of activities. Even banning crackers for not for few days or for few months, rather across the year. I mean, if we see during summer also a lot of celebratory, firecrackers happen sometimes. Even stubble burning happens in summer, but no one
Absolutely.
points a finger to
Absolutely.
that.
It shouldn't be cracker burning. It shouldn't be throughout the year, whether it is your wedding or your birthday or your friend's birthday or then on Diwali or then on any celebratory impact. We need to understand no matter which side of the divide you are standing on, every small effort does count. It's the same air that you are breathing, I am breathing, and so are your children. In fact, I am going through a bad throat. It's not getting better. The pollution is making it more and more difficult, even for people, those who have to speak mandatorily as their primary source of work. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for speaking to us on this very, very important issue. Like I said, it impacts all of us. And possibly, like Mahatma Gandhi said, the change will have to begin from within ourselves, within our own homes.